Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. You're watching Rebel Roundup. I'm your host, and I'm joined by my very best friend in the whole wide world from Regina, Saskatchewan, Lise Merle. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Sheila Gunn Reid,
Sheila
and
got read.
I am rusty as all get out because I was gone for like 10 days over the course of 10 days to Brazil. I wasn't in Brazil for 10 days, but my travel all in, I think it was about 10 days. Anyways, I'll shut up. Lise, how's it going?
Well, Sheila got read. I'm coming off about the best 24 hours of my
Yeah, right.
entire existence. We got some things working in the background, Rebel Fam, that you are
Oh,
going to hear about.
you
And
love
I mean, to say that I am on cloud nine today and for the rest of my life is just an understatement. And I am fantastic. And I can't wait for today's show.
life goes full circle, don't it? Don't
Just,
it
whew.
ever? Anyways, I'll tell everybody what we're doing around here. By the way, I would like to show you that my kids got into the studio and redecorated.
Oh, so good.
Missing is I'm gonna add a few more shelves for some of my tchotchkes and things, because I have a few of those, and then they switched the lights that normally are like
Hmm.
they're just bright, warm lights. They put
Hmm.
the floor ones to green and then those ones to red. They said I am not optimizing my studio. It's what the
Like this
middle
is
one said.
this is actually really going to influence me because my mother was the biggest Christmas person on the face of the earth, and I have all of her things. Okay, Rebel Fam. So in these next couple of days, you're going to see this place transformed into an absolute Christmas
Right.
wonderland. Like we're not going to let these Christmas decorations go to waste. We are not.
I'm not one of those like seasonal decorator wreath putter uppers. Usually, like
Mm,
there's that house in the neighborhood that always has the wreath for spring and then Easter and then
right.
something else and then some
Me
I'm not
neither.
that person. I decorate for Halloween naturally. I
Mhm.
decorate for Christmas, of course, but I think I'm gonna take a more focused approach to the background in the studio and utilize the shelving and stuff, and also throw in some little Easter eggs that you guys
Oh, we
might
love a good.
notice from time to time. I know you love a good Easter egg.
I love a good Easter egg. As a matter of fact, there's one in my background right now. Okay. Look
I know.
close, people. Zoom in, zoom in.
Yeah.
But
I
no,
might
I can't wait to like do Christmas on Revel News. I can't wait.
I might even add an additional camera angle because off to this side is like a whole shelf of stuff
Now you
that,
are getting fancy, and we deserve this. Okay, we
well,
deserve two camera angles. Yes, we do.
yeah,
So.
it's got my Pinocchio Stampede baseball cap,
Uh,
a whiskey trader book, handbook of practical farm information, our Alberta heritage, Matryoshka doll, which actually you open it up and it's like the Holy Family.
oh, cute. Oh, adorable.
Yes, Ian Tyson's autobiography, stuff like that. So, anyways, I might add an additional camera angle so you can go that way. But
I
anyways,
love this for us.
I'm back in the saddle. David Menzies sort of took control of the show yesterday because it was very clear that I was rusty. Also, I am still battling whatever sort of Amazonian disease I contracted in Brazil. I fast for religious purposes, so I'm just to deal with it. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing it for medicinal purposes right now, and I'm also because my stomach is giving me a very hard time. So, anyways, all that is to say, let's get into the show. If you're watching us over on Rumble, thank you for being there. If you would like to get involved in the show, support the work that we do here completely out of the goodness of your heart, willingly, um, without coercion and force at the hands of the state, you can leave a Rumble rant. If it's over the $5 US cutoff, we'll read it on air. If it's under that, we'll do our very best to get to it, time permitting. I know yesterday we couldn't, both David and I couldn't go long. I couldn't go long because I just physically couldn't do it. And David had things to do. But if you do leave an excess of chats, I'll make sure that we get to them today. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can leave a super chat. That's their paid chat over there. Or if you missed the live version of this show and you still want to support our work, you can leave a super thanks. That's their paid comment over there. Also, my nose is running. So if you see me just sort of dabbing away, that's also that's also what I'm gonna do.
Oh,
Um,
the way that we have to battle colds on the air, like nobody knows what a fresh tell
oh,
it is. Truly, like the camera will go away, you'll blow your nose, you'll quickly sputter and get it all up, and then come back like nothing ever happened.
oh, I
We're talking.
know.
So don't, we're with you. We're with you.
Oh,
Yeah, we know.
when they
Oh.
cut away from us on the side of a clip, that's quickly when I'm like taking the bald Kleenex up out from under my sleeve like I'm somebody's 80-year-old grandma in
Um,
church and just
I had
anyway.
to I had to dab my nose with like a Swiffer duster one time, okay? Swiffer duster.
Yeah. Yeah, the things, yeah, this is a live show, guys. This is very live.
Real life, yes.
So
Happy to
let's
be
get
here.
into what potentially could be happening in pipelines in
Mm,
Alberta. Uh, Ottawa and Alberta agree to broad,
mm,
read vague, and possibly never materializing
mhm,
energy deal, including support for a pipeline. But I'll tell you why I'm skeptical. The deal's to be formally announced on Thursday, I think, in Calgary. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Alberta Premier Daniel Smith have agreed to the broad outlines of a memorandum of understanding that would give Alberta special exemptions from federal environmental laws and offer political support to a new oil pipeline to the BC coast, CBC News has learned. It would be contingent on Alberta embracing a stricter industrial carbon pricing regime. So we're just better not sell ourselves out here. And a multi-billion-dollar investment in carbon capture from the Pathways Alliance of oil sands companies, according to sources who spoke to CBC News. CBC News spoke with multiple sources with knowledge of the plan or who had been briefed on it, but were not authorized to speak publicly before the memorandum of understanding is released. It could reset the relationship between the two levels of government, which have been at odds with each other for some time.
Mm,
Here's my problem with this. Um, I don't want exemptions to existing laws. I
no,
want those laws in the garbage can.
this is exactly what I
I don't
was
want
gonna say, Sheila
special
Gunn Reid.
treatment. I don't want
We
special
don't
treatment.
We do not need political support. We need laws overturned. We need a
Right.
complete culture shift in the federal government. Like to say that they're like, I love that such a big deal is being made about a memorandum of understanding. But when it comes right down to it, a memorandum of understanding is nothing more, is worth less than the piece of paper it's written on. And broad strokes by the federal government. We're going to trust the federal government with
Mr.
broad strokes. Mm-mm.
Mr. Values? No, thank you.
We need to see all the
Sorry, no.
details. Yeah, we need to know what
Um,
we're signing on to before we sign on to it, to be completely honest. Like, we have a suitor in the United States that's treating us real nice, and this is just Canada's way of being a bad boyfriend, trying to lure us back with chocolates that he already ate half of. You know what I mean? Yeah, no thanks
yeah.
to this.
No, no, I don't want us to have to sell ourselves out to get political support
No,
in a broad
no.
context from Mark Carney. I want the things that are stopping us from building our industries in the dustbin of history. And I don't want Daniel Smith, of whom I am a supporter, to sell us out to sign up for this industrial
Sure.
carbon tax. Because what this means is that any company that wants to invest in us to build this pipeline is going to have to factor this ridiculous cost into the construction and financial feasibility of the project. And they're still going to look at it and say, I guess they're not going to technically block the pipeline, but they're going to do it through bureaucratic taxation.
That's exactly it. We do not want it, like, we don't want in the West our major projects to be completely managed by the federal government. Our whole point is that we want the federal government way far away from any of our industry, way far away. They shouldn't have anything to do with it. And yet here they're just like, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make exemptions for you, and we're going to create a bunch of loopholes for you to jump through, and it's going to cost you more, and it's not going to work out in the end. But we'll sign a fancy letter and make it look like we're doing something.
Sorry, and how can we say that the consumer carbon tax adds to the cost of everything, but not say that the industrial large emitters carbon
Like,
tax doesn't add to the cost of everything? All it does is move it upstream. It just took it
mhm.
from a line item on my electricity bill and put it like on the
On the
electricity
tax, so
creator
sure,
up, and they just, now it's obscure. Now I can't see it, but I know it's
right.
there.
And you don't know how much it costs. Exactly
Right.
that.
I can't
Exactly
I can't
that.
hang it squarely around the neck of the federal government. I don't know. This, I mean, sort of good news, but at the end of the day, whether Mark Carney politically supports it or not, or is support, or, vague, broad, we still have given BC a veto. So this all means nothing to me.
Right, because David Eby is going to come along and say, those Danielle Smith and Scott Muller are so
They've already
wrong
said that.
here. That's
I
it.
think
He's
the
already coming.
headline
Yeah.
I think the headline was um that BC was blindsided by it. Maybe we can do that. I think they used the word blindsided. I'm going to start Googling around.
Scott Muller
Um,
actually had to come out and like debunk David Eby and had to say to him,
God love him.
right, David Eby, to be completely honest, this isn't really involved Saskatchewan a whole lot. So I don't know why you've got my name in your full mouth. But he did. He had to fact check David Eby. It was great.
Yeah, here it is. Check news. And actually there's another one. David Eby slams Alberta
Hmm.
over potential pipeline deal. Somehow Saskatchewan got dragged into the mix. I'm just going to keep looking here and I'll stick it in there.
Is it
Uh,
just for the record, Saskatchewan dearly wants Alberta to have its pipeline. We dearly
Absolutely.
want
I
the
saw
best
you
for
guys were
Alberta.
up to, you guys are also up to something over there. And maybe you can find it, Olivia, it's from Czech News. So this is BC based news. Rob Shaw is the journalist of note on it. And he writes, BC blindsided by reports of new oil pipeline deal between Alberta and Ottawa. First of all, I don't need a deal between us and Ottawa. We need a deal with us and the oil companies to move our pipeline. We should not be asking the
Yeah.
feds for permission. We should not be conceding
To,
that
to,
power to them
to
because it's
access
not theirs.
consumers. Yeah,
It's not
to
their
access
power.
consumers to our product. We shouldn't have to ask permission to do that. We shouldn't have to ask permission to produce it. We shouldn't have to ask permission to ship it. We shouldn't have to ask permission to sell it, and we shouldn't have to ask permission at all. Like
Yeah.
at all in any way. And yet the federal government thinks, oh no, this needs to be managed by us. This needs to be facilitated by us. We need to be involved in every step of this. And you're wondering why your costs are out of control, Canada. This is why they're involved in everything.
We actually, maybe we can show that from Czech News, because Eby says, look, I spoke to Mark Carney just hours ago, and
Hmm.
he said that there's going to be no pipeline. And I actually believe David Eby. Um, let's
Do
watch.
you think? Oh
I
yeah,
I actually believe
interesting,
him.
interesting. Yep.
Can we get to that? It's like halfway down that article. Sorry, I have a hair that
You
is
get
hooked to
it.
my hat,
Get
and
your
it's
chin
gonna
tweezers.
drive me crazy. There, I
There
think I
you go.
got it. Do you see that, Olivia, in the Czech News article? It's in the middle there. Okay, she's just queuing it up. But
Tell me.
basically,
Yeah.
Eby is saying, well, we're never going to okay this because Quebec has a veto and they would never okay this. And so we want to be treated the same as Quebec. Yeah, me too, actually.
Who
But
doesn't?
uh, it just shows what a snake Mark Carney is, though, because he's
He lied to
trying to,
the. Well, he played
he's lying to everybody right now.
played both sides of the coin there, I guess.
Yeah,
Does he strike you as an inherently trustworthy person? Because he doesn't for me.
no. Well, let's hear from Deputy Dog here.
Wah, wah.
And local First Nations were shut out of these negotiations on a pipeline he doesn't support. Here he is today.
I underlined for the Prime Minister how unacceptable it was to me to have Saskatchewan and Alberta speaking about matters in British Columbia without British Columbia at the table. This is not something that would happen to Quebec. This is not something that would happen to other provinces in the Federation. I don't know why the thought was that it would be okay for it to happen in British Columbia.
What?
Eby says he told the Prime Minister coastal First Nations need to be part of these talks, and any public money spent on the Alberta pipeline needs to be matched for BC
imagery.
projects. I asked him if
That's
he feels
Saskatchewan.
like Ottawa was buttering up BC recently with all its funding announcements, things like money for Royal Athletic Park that the city didn't even ask for, and all the BC projects added to the federal major projects list to kind of lessen
They didn't
the
realize
blow
they
of
were
this
being
pipeline. He
groomed.
said, no, BC just has really good projects. Late this afternoon, Energy Minister Adrian Dix reacting to the news.
Well,
Isn't that funny? He's like, they were giving us a bunch of money for all kinds of stuff that we didn't ask for. And it's like, yeah, you were being groomed.
you get how that works now, David? You get how they just slither in with their bags full of gold and give it to you and tell you how great a job you're doing, tell you how much they love BC, and then they go and do a thing that you never even saw coming. Because anytime you take money from the federal government, they are taking something back in return. And David Eby, Premier of BC for how many years, just figured this out. It's actually hilarious. It's hilarious.
Also, anytime Andrew Wilkow on The Patriot, he always says this, and I always try to remember this. Anytime the government is with an outreached hand giving you something, the other hand's always a fist.
Yeah.
You must remember that. But also, it's weird how David Eby is sort of not even though he is a premier in Confederation, not really understanding how Confederation works. And look, I think Confederation is broken, but David Eby sure doesn't. And so he thinks he can get the fruits of Confederation without acting like a member of Confederation.
Right.
And that means that we are a country and not a bunch of Balkan states. If we want to be Balkan states, let's rumble. Don't threaten me with a good time.
And that he was
right now, that's not how it is. And we get access to your ports, just like your stuff gets on a railroad and goes through Fort Saskatchewan.
And he's so butthurt about being talked about when he's not in the room. He was like, how dare Saskatchewan and Alberta talk about us when we're not even there to hear it or defend ourselves. Well, welcome to the West, David Eby. Now you know how Alberta and Saskatchewan feel when Ottawa is chipping away about all of our major industries. Okay, and we're not there to defend ourselves. Welcome to the West, bud. Welcome to it's like David Eby had a whole bunch of eye-opening moments all in one day. Poor guy. Must be tiring.
It's been tough on him. We've got another clip of David Eby. It's 4 minutes long. I don't know how much of it we're going to show. It depends on how bored David Eby makes us, I guess. That's how far we'll get into it. Because the man has no riz, as the kids say, whatsoever. Like, I don't know how he gets elected. I think it's just because Vancouver is deeply socialist. And so they're like, the socialistist guy is the one for us, and everybody else in Saskatchewan is like, dang. Or Saskatchewan in BC. Eby's province benefited from 50% of the major projects approved in Canada. 50%.
What?
And yet the ungrateful mud hut climate radical, this is from Alberta Separation, I'm just reading their post. The ungrateful mud hut climate radical would trade all of British Columbia's prosperity to destroy even the slightest chance Alberta's oil pipeline will be built. This whole thing, what's happening right now, maybe this is like 4D chess and I'm not seeing it. I think I see it. Maybe I do. But this,
I have a theory.
Let's watch it and then we'll share our theories on this.
Okay.
Shaw, Check News.
Hi, Premier. Back on the pipeline position, do you feel in any way that your position of kind of a hard no on this caused Ottawa to exclude you from these conversations? Did you get any type of apology from the Prime Minister when you talked today about being cut out of this? Is there any commitment going forward that you're going to be included in it?
I'll let the Prime Minister speak for himself about this. I underline for the Prime Minister how unacceptable it was to me to have Saskatchewan and Alberta speaking about matters in British Columbia without British Columbia at the table. This is not something that would happen to Quebec. This is not something that would happen to other provinces in the Federation. I don't know why the thought was that it would be okay for it to happen in British Columbia. But regardless, I was very clear that my expectation is that going forward, that British Columbia be at the table and that we're able to participate in these crucially important conversations. We don't have to agree, but it is absolutely crucial that the perspective, knowledge, and relationships of British Columbia are leveraged at that table to make sure that we reach the best conclusion for the people of Canada possible.
I'll double barrel this one to get as much in as I can. Do you feel at all like the announcements from Ottawa on funding and the major projects office in the last few weeks and months were in any attempt to sort of, fatten you up like a plump Christmas goose before Ottawa comes in and drops this pipeline on you? Does it seem genuine looking back that BC got half the major projects when you're about to get whacked with a pipeline? And then also, did the Prime Minister explain what's in the MOU? And can you comment at all about these reports that it would carve out an emissions cap, carve out the tanker exemption, carve out the clean energy regulations, create some sort of tier system on carbon credits, and require the Pathways project from Alberta, which seems to be the broad direction that we're going here?
I'll let the Prime Minister speak about the agreement. The one piece that he underlined for me was that the agreement was not finalized at this point, and my expectation and hope is that BC's feedback is incorporated into any final agreement, and particularly BC's participation going forward and respect for the role of coastal First Nations. Look, I think from the perspective of British Columbia, when I have the opportunity to meet with other premiers and I hear what they're working on, I will say with respect that the vast majority of major project opportunities in this country right now that are close to final investment decision are in British Columbia. It's an incontrovertible fact.
Insane.
It is, regardless of the small p politics, there is no other province that has tens of billions of dollars of major
That's 'cause they're
projects
sucking
final
up to
investment
you.
decision with private proponents, permits in place, ready to go. So it is not and has not been a surprise to me that British Columbia has 4 times more major projects on the board than any other province in Canada.
Well, I can tell
What has
you
been
why.
a surprise and an unpleasant surprise to me
Tell
is
me
the
why.
willingness with which Alberta.
Okay,
Tell me
I've
why.
had
Why-
enough of this guy.
Yeah.
So it is true that of the announced major projects office projects, which I know are being announced directly out of the Prime Minister's office and not out of the Office of Major Projects, because there is no Office of Major Projects. We know that through an order paper question, the office has no office. There's one person, Dawn Farrell. She's the CEO. She's got an administrative assistant and a $20 million budget, but they haven't done anything. So these projects that you're hearing about are hand selected by Mark Carney, a
Mhm.
centrally planned economy, if you will.
Yes. And so what I see here happening is Mark Carney and David Eby, to a lesser extent, are setting up a winning campaign, a PR campaign is what they're doing in British Columbia, because British Columbia has got more than its own handful of problems. Okay.
Yeah.
They've got private property rights being questioned, churning through the courts right now. That's a major PR disaster.
Their debt
for
spiral,
for-
opioids. Yeah, they got a problem
right?
there.
BC is in
Foreign
trouble
gangs running the Lower Mainland.
with
Yeah.
without all of these things. What Mark Carney is doing is setting up a media atmosphere that is going to hype First Nations successes. So you hear David Eby there saying, well, we need to consult with the First Nations on our coastline before we proceed with any of Mark Carney's major projects. And what that is going to do is reroute money into a very small handful of First Nations consultants' hands. Okay, that is what's going to happen. Then David Eby and Mark Carney together can hype the success of their master stroke of their master plan. They're onboarding First Nations people whom they are going to exploit to take the eyes off the actual problems of BC. That is what I see happening here.
The only reason that BC has shovel-ready projects ready to go is because the federal government has hand-selected them. And it is true that 50% of the 6 announced projects are BC projects. There's a reason for that. And it's the North Coast Transmission Line, the Northwest Critical Conservation Corridor, and an LNG project at Pierce Island. So BC is getting preferential treatment. So of course investors are like, I guess that's the only place that we can invest in this country.
BC First Nations are about to get filthy rich
You know what?
off
Honestly,
of this.
I hope they do. But at the same time, I wish the same for Alberta's First Nations.
Exactly this.
And
It's
BC doesn't
favoritism,
have yes, and BC doesn't have to deal with the specific anti-oil legislation. Bill C-48, there's the anti-tanker legislation, the anti-pipeline legislation, the emissions cap. They're not dealing with the things that Alberta and Saskatchewan have to deal with coming out of the federal government. So when you're an outside investor, a private sector company, you're looking at the landscape in Canada and you're like, well, I guess it's BC. I guess that's what we're doing. And you're seeing that play out. So, and also when David Eby talks about, like Indigenous consultation, I don't want to remind him, but I guess it's my job to remind him and other people that we actually have a crown corporation in Alberta, and I'm not one to blow the horn of crown corporations, but it's called the Alberta Indigenous Opportunities Corporation. And what it does is advance reconciliation through oil and gas partnerships with Indigenous people. Why? Because our oil and gas projects are in their communities. And so they get to stay in their communities, tied to their culture, and make darn good livings to escape generational poverty. But David Eby says that they can't have that. Why? I guess because they're Albertan working in oil and gas.
Yep. That's what happened.
Anyway, if I had to guess, this is Danielle Smith's last ditch effort to save Alberta's place in Confederation. And I think that's why she was willing to make that consideration by agreeing to the enhanced carbon tax on large emitters. Because if this fails, and I believe that it will, because we've had approved pipelines fail in the courts, then there's nothing left. This is like the Hail Mary last hope.
Kick at the can. Yeah.
Because we had Northern Gateway approved. It went through the technical review of the National Energy Review Board, which was the way that we used to do major projects in this country. We didn't ask the local feminist what her gender-based analysis was about how the pipeline made her ovaries feel. We didn't do that back then. We just thought, is this a technical, safe project? The private sector wants to pay for it. Then we're doing it if it passes that review. And the Northern Gateway passed that, and then it got tied up in the courts, the activist courts, and let it die, and the federal government let it die because they could have invoked the notwithstanding clause to get the pipeline done, but they didn't. So I think this is Danielle Smith's last ditch effort to save Confederation, and I don't think it's going to work.
Well, hold their feet to the fire, Danielle Smith, because they don't react to anything less.
Yeah. Let's hit an ad break. I guess we have to hit 2 ad breaks today. I'm gonna sniffle and drink some ginger ale, and we'll be right back.
Gun bans make great distractions.
Trudeau may be gone, but Carney has picked up his same rhetoric.
We will quickly, and I mean quickly, reinvigorate the buyback of...
Hunters, collectors, competitors, and defenders of tradition are still being targeted, while criminals run wild under Liberal policy. But we are fighting back. Join us, Canada's National Firearms Association, in defense of freedom.
You like the hat? Me too. Same strong message about making Canada great again, but in a really cool color, black and gold. There's other colors available, and it's an all-Canadian site. So if you want to signal your tribe or trigger a Liberal, go to mcgahats.ca today.
Canadians know the national anthem. They stand in silence to remember those who died for this country. But not every Canadian knows their rights and freedoms. The Freedom Passport will change that. It looks and feels like a Canadian passport, but contains the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in a portable, easy-to-read format. The Freedom Passport. Order one for yourself and for all the freedom lovers that you love at freedompassport.ca.
All right, let's hit the portion of the show that I see we've dubbed Transanity. Let's show a clip that I sent to Lise over the weekend. I believe I was late over in Toronto when I sent it to Lise. And this is Canada's Air Force. Pilot recruiting shortfall, retention recruiting shortfall. But don't worry, because this outreach video will solve that problem by gaslighting us with the implication that there's a murder epidemic targeting Canadian trans people and instructing us all to go learn about transgender people. I have learned, and that's why I hold certain opinions. Let's watch this. This is like a real video put out by the Canadian military.
Yep, this is our armed forces, guys. Okay, have a look.
Yeah.
I'm Captain Tamsin Waterhouse, a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot based in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and a transgender woman. Right now, I'm training to become an instructor pilot on the CT-156 Harvard II. I earned my wings in August of 2025. I became a soldier in order to protect human freedom and dignity. I became a pilot because it's a job that allows me to put my full self to use, both mentally and physically. Being an instructor means always questioning your own preconceptions. You might assume a student made an error because of inattention and later discover that the real reason was that they misheard your instruction. It's an ongoing exercise in understanding someone else's perspective and way of thinking. So it should come as no surprise that I'm surrounded by supportive colleagues here, people who understand difference and meet new ideas with curiosity and understanding. Transgender Day of Remembrance honors lives lost to transphobic violence. But the dead we remember on November 20th are only the tip of the iceberg. There's no way to fully capture the scope and impact of anti-trans violence globally. I'm very proud to have this chance to represent Canada and the Canadian Armed Forces. And I want to challenge everyone hearing this to do two things today. Go out and learn something you didn't know before about the military. And then learn something you didn't know about transgender people.
Tamsin is proud. You know what I am? Embarrassed. This is embarrassing. Learn something about transgender people. Okay, here's another one. Transgender people are disproportionately more likely to be convicted of sex crimes.
Yes.
Why are we upholding this person in our armed forces publicly? Like, this is so embarrassing. This is actually so emasculating to our armed forces. That's supposed to be a culture of warriors. I, for one, know. Okay, listen, a couple of years ago, we were invited as a family to take an extra special fancy VIP tour of CFB Moose Jaw, which is, fun fact, one of Canada's busiest airports. Okay, they have more landings and takeoffs every day than any other airport, including Toronto Pearson. Truly, because it's a training base. They have pilots coming in from all over the world. And let me tell you something: if I had encountered Tamsin, hey, my name is Tamsin and I'm a lady, I would have lost my mind. This is embarrassing. It needs to stop in our public institutions. And Tamsin, that you're leading our young pilots tells us everything we need to know about Canadian Armed Forces right now. Certainly, you could have found someone better qualified and not displaying some questionable. This is just a dude who's a pilot.
This is just a dude who's a pilot. Now, I tried to listen. I tried, but the problem was I was listening. And can we just play Tamsin's voice once more? Because the second it hit my ear, I was like, I know
that's a trans lady. Yeah.
No, I know that voice from somewhere, like the affect of it.
Well, yeah, because voice training is a thing.
I'm Captain Tamsin Waterhouse, a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot based in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and a transgender woman.
Can we just do that again? I'm Captain Tamsin Waterhouse. Just listen to how, okay, just go back.
I'm Captain Tamsin Waterhouse, a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot based in Moose
Okay.
Jaw, Saskatchewan.
The second I heard that, I was like, that sounds like Kip Dynamite. You know who Kip Dynamite is?
No.
Okay, so Napoleon Dynamite's brother, when he's like, I'm talking to hot chicks on the internet. Maybe I put the clip there. It's just the how he talks.
Oh,
Okay,
please,
listen.
yes, please, yes.
Your sandy hair floats in the air. To me, it's like a lullaby. I'm just flying by, oh so high, like a kite.
Stay home and eat all the freaking chips, Kip.
Napoleon, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day. Besides, we both know I'm training to become a cage fighter.
Since when, Kip? You have the worst reflexes of all time.
Try and hit me, Napoleon.
What?
I said come down here and see what happens if you try and hit me.
Tamsin.
We both know we both know I'm training to be a pilot.
Exactly.
Napoleon.
Exactly. I don't know why when I heard Tamsin's voice, I was like, what, Kip Dynamite? Like, it's just.
And you know what? We've in Canada, we've had our own fair share of really sketchy military members doing terrible things. Anybody remember Captain Russell Williams? Anybody remember him? He liked dressing up in women's clothes too. Remember Captain Russell Williams? This is what we're focusing on in Canada. Absolutely put an end to it. Whoever is hearing me in the conservative movement that needs to hear this, Donald Trump won the 2024 election, taking this on. Enough.
Okay.
We are done.
One of our web editors went through and sort of debunked this nonsense about the transgender Day of Remembrance stuff because it just isn't true. So the Transgender Europe group, who focuses on cataloging transgender violence. And when I say transgender violence, I don't mean the violence by transgender people perpetrated on others through mass shootings or assaults at protests or whatever, but what they describe as violence against them. There are a couple of documented Canadian incidents, and you tell me if this is transgender violence. So they have one that is the ramming attack against the Filipino community. They're
using the car attack in British Columbia as an example of what?
Yeah.
What?
And then
you know what though? These would be the kind of people be like, do you know how many trans people died on 9/11? Do you know? It was an act of violence against trans people. I mean, this is what they're claiming, yes?
Okay, wait. Kelsey Elam, one of the others listed there. Kelsey Elam. This is it says that the attack happened in St. Louis, although the person I guess was Canadian. So we didn't even do it. We're collective as a nation. We're responsible though. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Kelsey was shot by an abusive boyfriend after being punched during an argument.
Oh, so you're saying like
this is domestic violence.
Intimate partner violence.
That's not anti-trans. You can't if you're dating a trans person.
If you're in it, man. You're in it, buddy. Trans on trans violence.
And then
excuse me, LGBTQIA on trans violence. This is what?
Right. And then like they catalog stuff that's like completely unrelated to any sort of transgender identity. Like there's one in Brazil here that's like a shooting by two assailants who arrived on a motorcycle. The attack, but the motive is unknown. So just if you die while being trans, apparently you're just cataloged in here, and we're all supposed to feel bad.
Yeah. And
got nothing to do with me.
The way that governments are collecting statistics on trans violence is really an area of concern, because when they say trans people are most vulnerable to violence, they mean by other trans people. They never add that in though. They never let you know that all of the violence coming at the trans community is from their own community.
Yeah. Have you ever looked at the domestic violence stats on lesbians?
It is
startling.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And yet we're told every day by, people like Tamsin that they're the most vulnerable, unsafe people on planet Earth, when that is the furthest thing from the truth. Women and children are the most vulnerable
Yeah, that's why
sector
they're
of
always the
our
ones first.
societies.
Like that's
Yes.
why it was like women and children first, right? But anyways, we've got a video from Libs of TikTok, but a dude stealing a lady's title, world's strongest woman is a man. And this happened at Arlington, Texas, of all places.
Oh, Texas. What is happening?
What on earth? Let's watch. The lady beside him. Good for her.
Yeah. Atta girl.
Good for her.
Atta girl. Don't entertain it anymore. Look at that. You know what? Let
the
that
lady who
loser.
walked off. She
Yeah.
just said that's BS. That's Andrea Thompson, the female runner-up. You can see the look on her face. She's not even going to legitimize this. She says that's BS.
Oh,
and
she
she
is
just
gonna.
walks away. Good for her.
Can you imagine her in the car on the drive home after she let her demons off their leashes? I'll tell you that for free, Canada. Ooh, we need more. We need more Andrea energy in this world. But no,
Happy
let
to say
these
that wouldn't happen
losers.
in Alberta. That
Let
would not
these-
happen in Alberta.
No, it wouldn't,
by the way.
because Danielle Smith put a stop to that. But let these losers stand on their podiums, proud as punch with themselves, by themselves. You know what? Shame them. Shame them. Get off the podium, stand there and shame them to their faces. Don't let them have their moment. They don't deserve it.
Yeah. I think we need to hit a second ad break, Olivia. Is that right? Oh, okay, we can push through. I know that you had an ad read for me. I just don't see it there. So maybe you want to drop it down and I'll. Oh, okay. Apparently we're not going to do it today. So I psyched myself up for something I didn't have to do. Let's go into this. It's from the Globe and Mail. St. Anne's church fire that destroyed rare frescoes. This was a cultural institution, not just a church, although somebody like me would argue that churches are cultural institutions. It's being investigated as arson. So this is a fire that happened in June 2024. St. Anne's contained murals painted by the members of the group of 7. So, and then it's just absolutely burned. An Anglican church. And now after, I guess, an 18-month-long investigation. It's so funny to see these, like, the Anglican terminology for some stuff. Like, who is a rector's warden and sings in the church choir.
What
It's
do you mean?
very, very British. Very British.
Rector.
Hardly knew her.
So happy.
Thank you. Anyway, they have deemed the fire an arson after all this time. The church itself was constructed in 1907 through to 1908. It was designated a National Historic Site in 1996. And so it had a group of 7 frescoes, murals, I guess. And some idiot burned it down. Why? Because it looked probably, if I had to guess, a little bit too much like a Catholic church. And we can't have those standing.
No, you can't. No, you certainly can't. My question is why it took over like a year and a half to come up with this information, to release this. Oh, yeah, it looks like somebody threw a match on it. How 18 months? Like, if we can't chase down arsonists faster than 18 months in Canada, well, we can't. We know we can't. Well, it's all on fire. That's it. We're just a disaster. Listen, I would want a society where arsonists are chased down a hell of a lot faster than 18 months, because who knows? Who knows what that person has been up to in that time?
Right. They think they've got away with it, and so they're doing it to other places.
Yeah.
Like if you burn down a church and then nobody bothers you about it, maybe burn down the next church and the next church and the next church.
Well, if you're a firebug like that, and all of our wildfires in the north, I mean, honestly, like this, listen, I would just expect that our police forces would be able to chase down the people that did this faster than 18 months.
Do you know what I'm learning? How slow fire investigations are. myself anyway. Let's go to one of my favorite things on the face of the earth, and that is pretendians. I love me a good pretendian. I love Buffy St. Marie's story, Beverly Santa Maria.
Oh, just invested in it.
There's so many of them. Saskatchewan really loves to crank out its pretendians. You've got a bunch in academia and law there. They just love to crank them out.
It's almost as if, Sheila Gunn Reid, in Saskatchewan, a certain segment of the population learned all at about the same time that if they declared as Indigenous, that they could make boatloads of money. It's almost like that happened. And look here, guys, we've got another one.
And get specific opportunities, right?
Oh, 100%.
You know, that you could end up with, proclaim yourself an Indigenous musician, an Indigenous singer from Piepot First Nation. I mean, Buffy St. Marie,
can we just talk? Let's please.
Okay, what she did to her family was wild, right? The way she maligned her mother as just some sort of Indigenous skank was quite something. She said, I was born on the wrong side of the blanket, is what she said.
That was really interesting. Joni Mitchell, who was actually from Saskatchewan, from Saskatoon, met Buffy St. Marie in New York City in the late 60s. And Buffy St. Marie, even though she had a lot of moxie and maybe even a little bit of talent,
that wasn't enough to get her. Guys, that's makeup.
That's makeup. Yeah. She actually didn't have enough to make it in New York City. And so what Buffy St. Marie did was she co-opted Joni Mitchell's origin story. And so then both of them were from Saskatchewan, and Buffy St. Marie came up with this humongous backstory of being born to an unwed mother or to a father that wasn't around, and then being adopted by the Piepot Reserve royalty in Saskatchewan. And they did. The Piepot Reserve adopted her.
For sure they did. After she said she was born there, and then they're like, well, maybe you're not. And then she's like, oh, they adopted me.
They did I say born? I meant adopted, but honestly,
she wasn't even Canadian. The gall of this woman, though, she was born in Stoneham, Massachusetts, to an Italian, I believe,
the
Catholic
Santa
family,
Marias. Yes,
the Santa Marias, born in wedlock to a very nice family. And when they threatened to expose her, she said to her brother, "Don't you dare! I will accuse you of." I'm going to shorten it just for the sake of YouTube. SA.
Yes.
Against me, ruin your life. And all of it was untrue. She basically intimidated him into silence, and she said, I'm rich now.
And so, you guys,
everyone will believe me.
He got rich on this lie is unfathomable. Unfathomable. She worked for the CBC for nearly 50 years. She developed the original Indigenous programming in
Cree language.
Cree language education. Okay, when people say Cree language should be taught in Canadian schools, I'm like, from the one that Buffy St. Marie developed with 3 years.
She was on a stamp, for the love of God.
Her Governor General's award bio still says was born in Saskatchewan. Patently
she's not
false.
Even Canadian. She's not even Canadian. If she has a Canadian passport, I'll be amazed. There's her birth certificate.
She's lived in Hawaii for the last 20 years.
Not only that, there's a side quest in the Buffy St. Marie story. She stole the husband of an Indigenous woman, ruined that woman's life.
Don't.
And that woman was left feeling like she wasn't a good enough Indigenous woman.
Because her husband
in comparison to Buffy St. Marie.
And his husband fell in love with her. It is so sick, and it is so sad. This is a psychopath. This woman
is a crazy lady.
It truly is. And so there are our point here being for the purposes of this story is that she is not alone. This was a scam and a grift that was discovered in the mid 1970s. And another person has come out and said, actually, turns out I'm not Indigenous at all. Got out ahead of it a little bit, which is better than being put on blast by the media when we find out. But who's this guy? Tell me
Okay,
that I
wait.
lost the.
Anyways, there's that other one that was in academia in
Oh,
Saskatchewan. She was a lawyer.
oh, it was oh, her name is on the two. Something, something, something. It's a three.
And
It's a
anyways,
three
and
name.
then there was that other lady who
Turpin Lafont? Was it? No, was that it? I can't remember. In any case,
anyways, there's a whole swath of them. There's that other one who she was like, "Oh, I was born into addiction and poverty as an Indigenous person," and blah blah blah. And her parents are like
what?
property developers
Her parents
on the lake.
literally like live outside of Regina. Her parents came out and went, we actually don't know what she's talking about here. Her sister was like, yeah, she's been on this little track for quite some time. We just let her
Because you
roll
get
with it.
opportunities, right? And you get like if there's a standard white lawyer and all things equal, a white lawyer lady and an Indigenous lawyer lady, and they have the exact same marks, exact same success with their arguments, the Indigenous woman will be, for DEI purposes, hired above the other one. So, of course, there's benefit to claiming indigeneity. And as it turns out, like this guy had to have known that this was made up. Because it's based on rumor, like family rumor. And like, I think rumors that just were spread about him because of the way he looked, like people were in his own family, I think were probably just making fun of him. Like how my family used to joke that because I am, like I like to can and I like to sew and I like to crochet and, like I'm a bit of a domestic witch and I like gardening. The family joke was perhaps Sheila is a lost Hutterite. And because when my mom was in the hospital having me in the Fort Saskatchewan hospital, the lady who shared the same room with her, and this is back when you were in the hospital for a week, she was from the Scotford colony. And when they brought in, like, the colony would bring in the food and the blankets and stuff so that it was like home for the Hutterite lady who was having her baby, because like you don't stay places, you stay with your family. Like Hutterites don't even have a word for loneliness. They don't. It's wild, but they don't really have a concept of that because you're always around people and always around family, and so they didn't want her to be lonely. So this is what they do, and the joke was perhaps because I'm
got switched.
So unlike my sister, drastically unlike my sister, that perhaps I was a Hutterite, and sometimes in my life I took comfort in that maybe I was indeed a Hutterite. And anyways, this guy took that sort of family poking fun at you and turned it into his personal ethos. So
a whole career, even a whole career.
He was the inconvenient Indian author. Thomas King says he's not Indigenous. Talk about inconvenient truth, hey? So it says, a prominent Canadian American author who has long claimed Indigenous ancestry, whose work exposed the hard truths of the injustices of the Indigenous peoples of North America, has learned from a genealogist that he has no Cherokee ancestry.
Oops.
These guys just take a high cheekbone and run with it, don't they? They just do.
Oh, I was going to say something that I know would blow back in my face. I'm just not going to say it.
I know.
Yep, they take them high cheekbones. Yep.
He wrote an essay exposing himself. I guess he told on himself before somebody else did, so I guess that's to his credit. But a genealogist working with this tribal alliance against frauds.
Oh
so
my God!
Obviously, there had been
Valor people. Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, there had been rumors in the background.
100%. He saw on the internet people started digging into him. He saw it happening, and he went, "Whoop! I better get out in front of this because this is going to blow up. I'm going to get Buffy St. Marie." And
that's exactly. But and again, he did the same thing to his family that Buffy St. Marie did to her family.
Gaslit them.
No, throwing them under the bus, like destroying their reputations. So he said he got on a video call with these people to try to get out in front of it. And he said there was they found no evidence of a Cherokee ancestry. He said, I'm reeling. At 82, I feel like I've been ripped in half, a one-legged man in a two-legged story. Not the Indian I had in mind, not an Indian at all.
I love the part that it just above, I think, Olivia, just a little bit up. He said that he remembered hearing stories that he wasn't his father's son.
Right. This is what he said. Okay, so first of all, another American figuring out the benefits of claiming indigeneity. He's lived in Canada since 1980. He took a job in Alberta teaching Indigenous studies at the University of Lethbridge. He rose to prominence.
Oh my God.
With
destroy those levels of education. Okay, they were all built on a lie, all of them. Indigeneity in education needs to go. Built on a lie. The end. Keep going.
So he rose to prominence with work that Canada's Governor General said displayed formidable wit to explore the social and economic and political dimensions of the modern Aboriginal experience.
That's like Buffy St. Marie's bio right there. Copy paste, basically.
He grew up. This is what he, like I said, he took the family joke and then turned it into a damage of his mother's reputation.
Oh, sure.
And then built a career out of it. I can't even imagine if my kids were saying these things about me and like going and publicly saying these things that are not true, that their dad was not their dad, which would have implications on my reputation, but he didn't care as long as it was to the benefit of him. He didn't need proof. He had high cheekbones, don't you know? So
what a jerk.
He said he grew up hearing a story that his father, Robert King, was not his biological father. Instead, Robert King's grandfather was Elvin Hunt, a man believed this is like the telephone game. But the genealogist working with Taft found no evidence of Cherokee ancestry on either side of King's family lineage.
Oh my God, he got an Order of Canada. Like, why are all of these guys seemingly discovered and then promoted by the government of Canada?
He got an Aboriginal Achievement Award.
All of them have to go back. All of them have to go back. Do you know Buffy St. Marie still has an honorary doctorate from the University of Regina and the University of Saskatchewan, amongst many, many others? As soon as this comes to the forefront of somebody's experience, like as soon as it's revealed that they lied, they should have all of their awards stripped. All of them.
He kept one because he said it was based on his writing and not his ethnicity. But do you really think he would have won it if he wasn't an Indigenous author?
You think you wouldn't have got the advanced praise? You think you wouldn't have had all of the book reviews? You think you wouldn't have, like, you think you weren't positively impacted by that? Of course you were. Absolute trash. Trash.
I can't even, like, we used to tell my son that his real parents were seagulls. You know, when he was little, we used to joke about that. And I don't even know how the jokes started. And then it would irritate him, so we teased him more.
Yeah, I remember
this guy took maybe I am a seagull and I'm going to be an acclaimed seagull author.
Or did he just see a pathway of gold?
Oh, completely.
Yeah, 100%.
When I was standard white guy from California. That's what he is, by the way. Wow.
He's a fine looking man, but he passed, and that's what he did. That's exactly what he did.
Crazy.
When I was when I was little, I threatened to, like, well, I asked my mom if I was adopted because I was real mad at her. You know what I mean? Just real mad at my mom. And she said, if you were adopted, they would bring you back to me within half a day, like before lunch.
You know what?
Didn't that
I used to tell my kids the same thing. Like, one of them would say, like, oh, you know, like, how far can we ride our bikes? You know, are the bad people going to grab us off the road? I'm like, they would never make it to the highway. You guys be kicked right out. Don't worry about it. No, I'm not worried. On the same topic, Dallas Brody, who the leader of 1BC.
She good.
She is good. She's just ripping it up in the legislature over there. The NDP don't know what to do with her.
Literally, Dallas Brody is starving the BC legislature for air. She has taken up all the air in the room. She is saying all of the things that need to be said in this world. And what did she do this time?
She said that the other parties all believe that Canada was built on stolen land. Today, I asked which one of them would volunteer to give their own land back, given that 91% of BC MLAs own property.
Beautiful.
Who would be the first to give away their home to
Beautiful.
Indigenous tribes? Let's watch this. This is well played. Put your money where your mouth is, losers.
That's right.
85 out of 93 members in this House own residential properties. This is according to public disclosures. I have the list, and I'm going to be publishing it later today. The government and official opposition both believe that the lands of BC were stolen, and that's why they voted down our bill to get rid of land acknowledgements. If they want to give back stolen lands, today is their chance. My question, Mr. Speaker, is which member will be the change that they want to see in this world by being the first to transfer the title of their own property over to a local Indigenous tribe?
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Just the best.
They don't know what to do.
They are crapping their pantaloons right here.
Well, thank you for the acknowledgement, Honourable Speaker. It seems that the member opposite is in a spirit of generosity. I understand she herself has a large home in not the downtown east side. No, it's a Tonier place. That's West Point Grade.
She's not saying this.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe don't dox her.
I think in the end,
maybe don't dox her.
In the end, the member over there is going to try and sow discord, disunity, put neighbor against neighbor, pit member against member. Meanwhile, the vast majority of the rest of this House just want to be doing things like improving health care, fighting crime, making sure that our neighborhoods are stronger, that people have jobs. If members opposite don't agree, I thought that's what they wanted to do too. Certainly we on this side of the House are focused on those efforts. So let me just be clear yet again. I know some members have heard us say it, but it never goes in one ear, goes out the other. Private property in this province is protected. If a nation wants to purchase it, the person who owns it needs to sell it if they want to sell it. If they don't, then they don't have to sell it. It's the way that our system works in BC. And we're working in terms of reconciliation with First Nations to acknowledge that there was harm.
I don't want to hear any more of that guy.
Yeah.
I love that Dallas Brody came with a list of actual names, puts them on blast in the legend, says, I'm going to be publishing this a little later. And they all went, oh, no.
Oh, I know. And I like how he turned it on her and he's like, well, maybe Dallas should go first. No, she's not the one doing the land acknowledgements.
She's not the one that's saying Canada is stolen. Right. She's not the one. And shame on him for doxing her in the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia.
Yeah.
What a jerk move. Absolute scumbag move.
Yep. Good for her.
Oh, I love her.
That's
I just
top
love
tier
her
trolling
energy.
in the legislature.
You know, Dallas Brody has some Danielle Smith energy. And I like
She very much reminds me of the early days of the Wild Rose Party.
Amazing.
Where they were trying to course correct the BC Conservatives the same way they were trying to course correct the progressive Conservatives in Alberta. But I think in Alberta, they were beyond hope. And eventually they just took over the party. So best of luck to her. It's an uphill battle, but she's a woman of principle. And I love to see it.
It's worth it. That's not a woman that's allergic to hard work. So you go,
or
Dallas
controversy.
Brody. You go,
or,
Dallas Brody.
You know, I think she sort of enjoys being disliked, but I kind of do too.
it's yeah. I mean, there's a price to be paid for being ahead of the curve, but the reward is just so great. And so good luck to her. Good luck to her.
What I want to talk about this, I know we're out of time, but I want to talk about this because it has to do with Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Nutrien.
Drag Solutions.
Nutrien is building a U.S. port to export Saskatchewan potash to the world. And so this is in response to the major projects office that has no office, no staff, but a $20 million budget. And so places like China, India, Japan, they're consuming large quantities of this. The other major producers of potash in the world are tied up in a war. And so Lauren Gunter writes, Canada's the largest potash producer in the world, but I would preface that by saying Saskatchewan is the largest potash producer in the world. 1/3 of it in total is coming out of Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Saskatchewan was an inland sea at one point in our history, and the deposits of potash are a beautiful benefit of that.
Yes, we got the dinosaurs. You guys got the potash. So Nutrien, the world's largest potash mining corporation based in Saskatoon, they were looking to build a new $1 billion export terminal, but the Major Projects Office didn't jump at it. This is not an oil and gas product. This should not have been controversial. The problem was it's in Saskatchewan. And so there's no votes to keep in Saskatchewan. And
Saskatchewan doesn't get anything nice from the federal government. We know this. This. Yeah, Nutrien went on to say, listen, we'd be happy to build a project in BC to be able to ship off the Canadian coast. And the government of Canada was like, no.
No, and good for them, because we shouldn't be rewarding British Columbia for what it's doing to our oil and gas sector. So instead, I think it was Prince Rupert in Vancouver. I think it was Prince Rupert. Maybe it was Prince George. They were where Saskatchewan wanted to go, and then ultimately they ended up in Longview, Washington
State. So just a little tiny bit below the border. That's where they had to go to find an economic situation that was hospitable to Canadian product. It's real sad, but it looks like, and this is going to have indirect consequences to our ag producers too.
Yeah,
because if we're shipping our mining products by rail, that is in direct competition with our ag products that are also needing to be shipped by rail. So it looks like we're going to have to look at upgrading our rail system out of Saskatchewan and south.
Yeah. Let's jump ahead to some immigration problem stuff, because I think this is important. And if we don't get to them today, we'll lose time to get ahead of them tomorrow. CBSA says it lost track of 32,000 people with outstanding warrants for deportations.
What?
Yeah, we've got a video.
With all due respect, I asked a question. I'll just ask Ms. O'Gorman, do you know the number, just the number of what percentage are warrants of those 30,000 removal orders? Just the number, please. Approximately even.
30,000 removals in progress of people we are engaging. We have 32,000 warrants for people that we are looking for.
32, I beg your pardon? There are 32,000 warrants?
People who are in our wanted inventory that we are actively looking for.
I'm sorry. You have...
And I'll point out, all of this is posted publicly. These aren't secret numbers. They're on the CBSA website.
So you know them, but the minister doesn't. Okay. So I'm sorry. There are 32,000 people set for deportation that are on warrant, which means you don't know where they are. Am I clear?
Correct. We are looking for them. And I will point out, these, as I said, are points in time. And so since we last met, we have removed more of those people on warrant.
How many more?
And then, unfortunately, we have had people who have absconded. These are fluid.
I understand.
And 500 CBSA officers doing excellent work all of the time to remove these individuals.
Ma'am, with all due respect, we have 30,000 deportation orders. This is half of Kamloops we're talking about. That 32,000 people are lost. I'm just going to leave it there and give the time to MP Kirkland. I'm just befuddled at that number. Thank you.
Befuddled, he says. I could think of another couple words, bud.
This is why I watch the Border Patrol social media accounts, like whether it's Homeland Security or this specific Border Patrol social media accounts, or then there's like, you can get a little bit more if you drill down on like the regions, like the Rio Grande, and like LA and stuff like that out of the United States. it looks so fun to deport those people. And I
It-
wish
they-
I would look at it, I'm like, Jesus, I want what you've given other people for myself, please.
We could be doing that. We could be doing that.
I
Yep.
just put a fun one in there, and they're like, it's no wonder that Zoomers and millennials want to join ICE.
Right.
So it looks fun because it feels like you're actually making a difference. I just put in the chat there just how clever their social media accounts are. And we've talked about this before, but whenever I'm feeling down, I look at the success of the United States in deporting foreign criminals. The moral of the story here is it can be done, and it can be done in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes and tap your heels together 3 times and think to yourself, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
You can self-deport. You can self-deport, so you can go home on a plane by self-deporting using the app, going home voluntarily, or they'll come get you and put you in handcuffs. But that was I think it was the Del Rio sector. That was their latest social media post, and it's my guilty pleasure. But the moral of the story is, can be done, fun. Can make it fun.
Yep.
But in Canada, we're like 32,000 of you, a small prairie city, just loose criminals in the country.
Like the resources that it will take for our federal government to chase down these people, to locate these people, to chase down these people, to start proceedings against them. Like, we must do something. And that's a tiny fraction of the total amount that actually do need to go home.
We've got another on this crazy story. I saw it in our morning email. Somali woman who is in a polygamous marriage and lied to get into Canada wins another chance to stay. She could not be sponsored by her husband because polygamous marriages are not legally recognized under Canadian law, but she gets to stay and give it another whirl.
On what grounds? Like, I bet she's claiming humanitarian grounds. Ooh, I belong to this religion that believes in this, and I'm the 4th wife. Wait until you find 5th, 6th, and wait until he finds 5th, 6th, and 7th wife.
Right.
I mean, this is crazy. We used to have standards in this country.
Polygamy used to be illegal. Remember that? If you were a Mormon and you tried to pull this, boy, the hammer of the law would come down on you. Ask Bountiful, British Columbia, when they were, I think it was the Blackmores, the Blackmore family and another family. And so them and Colorado City, Utah.
Right.
Some of you in the true crime realm might know that name. And so they were, polygamous wives were going back and forth between those two communities.
Mm-hmm.
And the hammer of the law came down on that community in Bountiful. And times they are changing. If they had been another religion instead of fundamentalist Mormons, well, they obviously, it's not criminal if you're a different religion.
This is add this to the pile of ways that Canada has devolved over the years. No, we shouldn't be bringing in husbands,
polygamous wives
with more than one wife. Could you imagine? Well, just like take sister wives. Like, listen, I'm a trash TV fan and I love me some Sister Wives on TLC, but look how that ended up with the entire
never good.
With the entire family splintering, one of their children commits suicide. Everybody in chaos. Humans are not designed to have 4 wives. They're just not. And yet here we are in Canada saying, yeah, no, bring them all over.
Yep.
Bring them all over.
Come in as a polygamous wife. Obviously, they let her into the country the first time. Then they didn't. And then, but she gets to stay again. I bet you because she has kids with him.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That's the old trick they play. Let's do the chats, I guess, and then we'll do the daily cringe.
Okay.
I still can't get over how much Tamsin sounds like Kip Dynamite. I'm still thinking about that, how it hit my ear. Sevenfold 7777 gives us $5. RIP to the ostriches slaughtered by the RCMP. We don't know if they were actually slaughtered by the RCMP. The RCMP were doing security there, but if I had to guess, they brought in a outside agency to do that. I don't think it was the RCMP. People who have experience in like large animal culling, I bet. We don't know that for sure. Cops continue to investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing. Yeah, it's for sure. The government also investigates itself and finds that they did everything exactly right. Silverfeet 1280 gives us $5 and says, if EB wants to be included in the discussion so much, his CCP handler should tell him the discussions don't happen in a convenience store in Japan. Silverfeet 1280 also gives us $5 and says, Dallas, we love you. Keep up the fight. Her and is Tara Armstrong the other MLA there? Yeah. And the other guy wears a cowboy hat. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I just saw him this morning.
Just on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, they're doing great work.
They
They're doing
really
great work.
truly are.
You know, like they are outshining the actual conservative opposition there.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they
On
are
these
because John Rustad's conservatives aren't conservatives at all. They are liberals.
Yeah. And Alberta Dawn gives us $5 and said, did they check if any of the 32,000 are collecting government benefits? Well, you know that they are. You know
I
that
wonder,
they are.
it's almost like they could then look into their bank accounts and see where they're spending that money and see where all of the money is going and maybe find them that way. But who am I to tell law enforcement in Canada what to do?
I remember when we were dealing with the influx of unvetted Syrian nationals coming into the country. And you could claim a family unit if you and your brother showed up at the immigration processing center in like northern Iraq, Egypt, wherever, with no documents. So two fighting age young men show up as brothers claiming to be a family unit, and the Canadian immigration officials would admit you. And we knew that ISIS had actually taken control of passport making equipment in Iraq and Syria. So people who did have documents, you didn't know if they were documents because ISIS literally took over the government facilities. And so there was fraudulent documents all over the place. And we filed for access to information to find out how much money each Syrian national was getting at the time. And that was like 2015. And that was after the Christians of northern Iraq who were like being genocided by ISIS. They were shuffled to the bottom because Justin Trudeau said that's despicable to prioritize Christians who are facing a genocide in the immigration queues. $50,000 per person per year at the time, plus benefits.
At 2015 money, that was a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a lot of money now, but it's more like 100,000 now. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. Let's do the Daily Cringe. I don't know if the Daily Cringe has a video or not, but she is Greta Thunberg. At least she's off the
How dare you?
Why did she dump the green?
How dare you?
It's for ecocide this time. I thought maybe she was dumping anyways, let's bring up the article. It's called Dying for Attention. It's pretty child. Can we play this? Large scale look at. How old is she? 22?
Yeah, 22 years old and never been told no or given a spanking and a nap in her life.
So they dumped green dye in a canal in Venice to prevent ecocide. And then they were given a fine. And they did this at 10 sites around Italy to coincide with the end of the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Belém, Brazil, where countries failed to agree on phasing out fossil fuels. If she wanted to dump green dye in one of those sewage canals in Belém, who would have noticed? So she had to do it. I guess she had to do it in Venice. one of the nicer places of the world. I don't blame her for not wanting to go to Belém. I did it in the interest of journalism. 0 out of 10 would not recommend, will never go back. But the people were a delight, and that's who I really felt bad for. But look what she did to this place.
Gross. Absolutely gross. Again, this is a 22-year-old that's never been told no or given a spanking or a nap in her life. Ever. And it shows. It shows. Raise petulant children, get petulant
she's
adults.
22. She's 22 years old, and she looks like she's 12.
It's not too old to spank. Where's her mother? That's what I want to actually. Her mother is as crazy.
Her mother
Which
is
explains a lot.
Antifa. Her mother is Antifa. At 22 years old, I had a 3-year-old, a house, a job.
I bought my first house at that age. I bought my first house at 23. Yeah.
I was a functioning adult woman, and I looked like one. Every time I see her, I think this is what veganism does to the developing brain and body of a child. Don't do it.
Yeah. Just incorrigible and awful.
Her brain is atrophied. It's not her fault that her parents fed her beans instead of burgers.
Lentils?
Yeah, like she's baby lentils. This is what happens when you don't get any DHA and B12 on the developing brain. You are hormonally stunted and your brain is atrophied. 3 eggs a week would have fixed this. That's who, I blame the vegans. 3 eggs a week, and this girl would be able to think through whatever she's not figuring out right now.
But I mean, when your entire luxury existence is being sustained by your activities like she's doing here.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no incentive for her to stop because there are no consequences. Hey, just real quick, our buddy Dave in the group chat says, Cowboy Hat BC MLA is Jordan Keeley. We're sorry, Jordan. Yes. Jordan
but
Keeley.
he's not a member of 1BC. Not sure why he hasn't joined.
That's a good question.
Probably none of my business. I'm an Albertan, but
I want to ask.
They're called the True Blue Trio. So it's Jordan Keeley, Tara Armstrong, and Dallas Brody. It's the 3 of them. Although they're not all in a party together, they're really, I think they're making a difference. At least people are talking about them.
Yeah.
People know their names. Do I know any conservative in the Conservative Party of British Columbia outside of Rustad?
No, I don't.
Oh, no, there's that one who said that she didn't ask for the light bulb. Can't remember her name. Remember her? We made fun of her on air.
Yep, we sure did. Yeah,
She
and
said that
Eleanor Sturkle is gone, so we
Yeah.
can't count her. Thank God.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that one who said that Indigenous people didn't ask for the light bulb. She had recolonized her with a light bulb.
Sitting in
So-
a podcast studio with all of the plastics on her that you could handle. And she was like, we didn't ask for this. Well, I bet you
Again,
didn't ask for
give it
clean
back.
water either. And yet, yeah.
Give
Look
it
at
back
you
then.
benefiting.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. Tomorrow we're back with the Buffalo panel on Western Wednesdays. I don't know who the panelists are yet. It'll be a surprise to everybody, including me. But Lise will be back with me tomorrow. By the way, stay tuned out there, everybody who love Lise as much as I do. She's got big things cooking in the background, real big things, a big treat for everybody, and a real accomplishment for her. I'm very proud of her. This is a dream of hers that's coming to fruition, and you guys all get to be a part of it. And I'm very excited. And I know that you are going to help us make this a success for Lise, who is so deserving of this. Lise, don't cry. Say bye to the good people.
Love you, Canada. Bye.
Thanks, Olivia, and everybody who works behind the scenes to put the show together for us. Thanks to those of you who pitched in a little bit to keep the lights on here and have your say, and to those of you who do the very free thing of just engaging with the content, leaving a chat, sharing it with other people. You must know that that helps us in a whole bunch of different ways, but the more you engage with our content, the more that the algorithm shows it to other people. So that's a really big thing that you can do to help us. And until tomorrow, if you find us offensive, maybe don't find us at all.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing